Hello everyone, this is Ivan and today I would like to introduce you just briefly a navigation system from Garmin, and we will talk about GTN 650. As you know, GTN 650 it is the unique equipment which holds a lot of different navigation system integrated inside of one small box. It includes, first of all, multifunctional control display unit, which use touch screen and also some knobs in interface. Also quite important that inside we have a GPS receiver with WAS EGNOS support. Next, there are capability for dead reckoning method, and also that is important that some communication equipment also on board. That's why we can easily tune any frequencies and even receive data transferred by mode 1090 extended tweeter. That's why everything is inside of one box. First of all, let me give you a brief description of this equipment, and then I would like to show how it is quite simple to quote a small flight plan and see how it works. In my video, I will use the GTN Trainer Lite version, with the help of which we can understand the basic idea of this device and the main capability of it. First of all, let me introduce our screen. That's why when we run our GTN equipment, we will see a display with a touch screen. That's why we can touch by finger any knobs here, and we will change our location in terms of information. Also, we have some knobs which help us to change different settings. It depends on in which menu we will be and what we would like to do. That's why we have here some knobs and here, and a place for flashcard. We will start from the basic home window. That's why, as usual in any multifunctional control display units, we have a title of menu where we are at the top. And here we can see all the functionalities that we have inside. That's why at the home menu we will see map menu, we can see traffic data, we can see terrain, we can also get access for weather data, default navigation settings, flight plan, and actually we will work mostly in flight planning side today, then procedures, nearest waypoint or airport. In case of emergency, we can just direct our aircraft to the nearest navigational aids or airports. Then here I've got up and down button. That's why my mouse here simulate fingers. That's why I can touch down and we will scroll a little bit down, and here you will see that. Also we can review database of waypoints. That's why waypoint menu here, some music. It's also quite important for pilot to get access for some entertainment facility. There are some utilities and system settings. Next, at the left side, we've got specific area where we will see extra settings for each menu. That's why actually now we can see message button here. It means that here we've got some message. If you click on it, you will see that there are 3 messages which talk us about some particularities of our training software. And also we can read this information and click button back to come back to our previous page. At the right side we have I can call it like 3 important areas. First of it includes information about radio frequencies for communication equipment and for radio navigation equipment. By clicking knob, we can change between navigation and communication radio frequencies. Also quite important, if we would like to change communication radio frequency for any other, we just need to click on standby, then specific menu will be open, and then we can just type radio frequency that we would like to tune. Also, we cannot tune another spectrum which is not supported by our communication equipment. That's why when I type it, I can just click enter, and you will see that our radio frequency, standby radio frequency, has been changed. Always we can change manually only standby, and then we can just click on actual radio frequency to just switch between standby and actual. That's why always we change standby, and clicking on active radio frequency we will change between standby and active radio frequencies. The same we can do for our navigation equipment. It means VOR or DME channel. That's why we can change radio frequencies here, and then we can switch between them. Next, also this equipment includes settings for aircraft transponder. That's why here we can specify identification code, which can be transmitted during our flight. If you remember, if you perform flight, you should to set up a particular code to identify particular condition of flight, and you always can change any code which you would like. However, if we talk about general aviation, because this equipment mostly developed for general aviation, we can just click visual flight rules, and you will see that it will be automatically changed to 1200, which means identification code for aircraft of general aviation, for flying, for visual flight rules. Also, we can change type of data which will be transmitted. We can work in standby mode. We can work in switching on and with altitude reporting. In most cases, we need to use altitude reporting mode. Okay, and when we click enter, we will see that we set up identification code of our flight for visual flight rules with altitude reporting. Probably that's all. That's why doesn't matter in which menu we will be. Always these 3 areas still appear here, and we can observe it during the whole flight. Also quite important that if we switch to navigation mode, it will be changed automatically if we will not check it. That's why at some time this information will be automatically changed to the communication radio frequencies if we will not provide any changing in these settings. And probably now we can continue. Okay, you will see that it has been changed automatically to the communication settings. Next, let's make a small overview of each of the modes of this equipment to understand how it works and what we can find inside of this installation. Of course, here I've got a button demo mode in which I can make setup for my trainer software. Of course, in real software we do not have this knob. Okay, let's start, and first of all let's look what's going on inside of Mac menu. And here we will see that we are located at Clark's Airport. That's why I set up it at the settings of my simulation. And here we can use zoom in or zoom out to see what's going on outside of us. In most cases, map menu means navigation display of pilot, in which pilot can see what's going on around aircraft. Here we can see air navigation map. We can apply weather information here. We can change number of items which will be indicated. Also, we can see information about tasks. Okay, everything is placed here, and it is the main navigation screen of this equipment. Here we've got a menu button, and here we can see, for example, map detailing, and we can change it between three different modes. That's why we can change amount of data indicated on this screen, or we can increase it, and in this case we will see much more detailed information. Okay, and also what we can see here, if we click on map overlays, we will see like layers or data which is indicated on the navigation screen. Topological data, terrain mode, airways. Also here we can choose between three basic levels, or just switch off indication of airways. Next, RAD data. Mostly it is related to weather data, which is indicated on the screen. That's why we can switch off it or change between different source data, USA or Canada. And traffic data. If there is some airspace users, it will be indicated with the help of special symbols. That's why traffic data can be indicated also here. However, I don't want to visualize it because it is simulation software. Map setup. Here we can set up the basic settings for visualization area. That's why we can choose orientation, track up, the size of this screen, and after zoom on off. In aviation, also we have some settings which we can change to be present on our screen, and always we can click restore by default to come back to default settings. Okay, if we talk about land, here also you can see that we have normal road details, city details, and indication about administrative boundaries of different countries or different areas. Traffic data, also I prefer to use restore by default. And weather data, also we can here change if we would like to see meteor data on the screen or not. Okay, probably I will left it on, and probably that's all that we can change for our map visualization. That's why I will come back, change data fields. Also quite important that this installation is quite good for uh, for, for changing like visualization. That's why here we have 4 data fields, and we can change what kind of information can be indicated in this field. That's why here it is desired track. That's why we can easily check to, for example, enroll safe altitude, or we can scroll it a little bit down and we can change for something else. However, even we can switch off it. Okay, off, just do not indicate this field. Then track data, also we can just click and change it if you would like. Distance to current waypoint, distance to destination, altitude, estimated time of arrival. Okay, let's change it to estimated time of arrival, and ground speed or GPS altitude. Or we just can switch off it. Okay, probably I can switch off it. And then we can come back and we will see what we have. That's why I switch off 2 of these fields. That's why only track angle and estimated time of arrival are placed in my screen. Okay, then if we come back, also we've got one more, restore by default. And also we can reduce amount of visualization, maybe at the middle level, because if we have too many information, it will be difficult to use it. Okay, and next also that I like that in this chart we can click in any object we would like. For example, you would like to know something about KLGB. That's why we can click on it, and you will see that there are track distance from us to this point, waypoint information. Also we can click and we will switch to the database where we can see distance, bearing. If you can click in information, you will see that it is some field, elevation, UTC shift, and coordinates. Also, we can see different procedures that is available for KLGP runway. That's why there are different types of approaches. Also, we can see information about runways, and we can see that there are 3 runways. Yep, 2 and 3. And we can check any of them, and we will see how it looks like in the map. That's why we can exactly understand orientation of runways and how it looks like. And also distance, width, type of surface, uh, right or left side of using, and lighting mode. It can be full time, it can be sometimes, or it may be switching off. Okay, and also we can change zoom to see the scheme of this airfield. Then also we can click preview. It is the same. Here we can see like maximum zoom of this information. Then also we can click on frequencies, and you will see radio frequencies, for example, ATIS radio frequency, clearance radio frequencies, or tower. That's why we can just click uh, like on clearance, and you will see that this frequency automatically migrate to our standby. And then I can just click on communication, and here we are. And we are ready to listen clearance from town. And if you would like to change, for example, ILS, we can click on ILS settings, and you will see that we will switch to navigation mode. And then if we click, we will be able to use ILS 30 for navigation. Okay, that's why this is quite useful, that everything in in our in uh, in our fingers. Okay, and also from there we can get access for actual weather, actually METAR data. We will see decoded METAR. It is time, wind information, visibility, uh, temperature, dew point, and altimeter settings. Also, we can see like coded METAR, like in coded version of METAR. Also, TAF is available for this airfield here. It is like forecast. That's why for any waypoint in our navigation screen, we can get such kind of information. If I zoom a little bit, we will see much more navigation equipment, and let's use, for example, BPMP waypoint. If you click, you will see that it is just a waypoint, and this is like relative distance and bearing to this waypoint with coordinates, and we can click preview to see where it is located. Of course, in the center. Okay, and that's why this navigation screen, it is very useful, because we can easily see what's going on. Even we can click on airspace, for example, this airspace, we will see type of this airspace, and we will see also altitudes for this airspace, minimum and maximum uh, altitudes. And also we can see the like geometry of this airspace. Okay, if we come back and zoom a little bit, okay, just a second, also you will see weather data. That's why this green and cyan pixels indicates about weather data. If we switch off indication of weather, this this indication will be disappeared. And also we can click on any waypoints to get information. For example, SNS, Silinas, it is Vortacan, and you can see that it is high altitude Vortacan. If you remember, there are three types: low altitude, terminal, and high altitude. High altitude usually used for en route flight. Also, we can see radio frequency. That's why we can just click, and our radio frequency will be changed to our Vortacan radio frequency. And also we can click on preview, and we will see where is this SNS and what type of flight routes are connected with it. Okay, to come back, that's why it is the main navigation menu. However, here it's called map. Let's go to the next menu. It is traffic. Here everything is clear. That's why here we will see indication of traffic. Also, there are two types of routes. All of them is related to TCAS 1, which indicates presence of airspace user. We don't know who it is, if it is aircraft or other type. However, we know relative location to our aircraft. Also, we can see relative altitude at the numbers above of this symbol in hundreds of feet. That's why here 12 means 1,200 feet above us. If it is minus, means below us. And this arrow shows vertical trend, climbing or descending. Also, field ROM indicates that this airspace user is located at the specific areas, and it means that it is much more important and much more risky for us. Okay, also there are some filters. I don't want to talk too much about them, and operation settings also we do not want, because it is just simulation of operation. Also, this equipment has capability of TAFS-B settings. That's why here we can see relative relief. Also, we've got a scale of indications. That's why everything below us in 100 feet will be indicated by red, and below us in 1,000 feet indicated by yellow color, and all other is black. That's why here we can see what's going on with relief around us. Also, we can change visualization. Visualization mode, 360 degrees or arc. we can indicate flight plan, legend, or we can switch off particular functions of tabs. If you come back, actually now let's talk a little bit about weather. Here you will see information about clouds and some meteor data. That's why we can also go to menu, and here we will see that it is orientation, legend, how everything looks like on this one. That's why there's meteor, flags, and this is cloud, tops, and turbulence information if it is present. Then in weather data link, we can choose what we would like to see in our screen, if it is present, of course. That's why everything we can change in this kind of menu. Also, we can click and we will see air met or METAR data about particular airport by simple clicking on some data to understood the source of this data. Okay, let's come back. Then we will be in default navigation. Default navigation, we can change data fields. That's why we can change it for some other information that may be more important. In most cases, this default navigation means information about particular lack of navigation flight. That's why here we can handle it by yourself to change what kind of information you would like to visualize, and just by clicking see what's going on. Information here we will see when we run some flight plan, and we will be in actual flight, and here we will see actual data related to particular leg of our flight plan. That's why now just come back, and next menu, it is actual flight plan menu. Here we can just click and create our flight plan. Until we will start, let's make a short overview what we have in menu button. Here you will see that we can set up parallel track, edit data fields. That's why we can change what kind of data we would like to see at the right side of our flight plan. And actually, there are much more buttons. All of them will be available when it will be possible to use these buttons. And also we can click on catalog, and we can find already pre-installed flight plans, which we can just like click and make it active. In our case, I would like to quote new flight plan, and to do that I will use real flight plan between clocks between Los Angeles and San Francisco Airport. That's why I just used flight plan database.com, then type departure and destination airports, and get a list of flight plans between these airports. And in our case, let's try to type this flight plan to get tune our GTN 650. That's why clicking add waypoints, and here you will see also a screen where we can add waypoints and big knobs for letters, and because we have not enough space for all keyboards. That's why they use approach to change letters based on what your information has been entered. That's why if we would like to code this flight plan, which is indicated on the road sequence, that's why let's start from clocks. That's why P, L, R, and X. Then we need to click enter to set up our data. Then let's go next. DRPB, DR, BB, double B. Okay, I forget about E. That's fine. Sorry, D, R, double B. And enter. Yes, it is. At waypoints, ABE, AVE, enter. Yes, we got it. Then ROM, R, O, M, enter. Yes. In this case, we have multiple results for ROM. Of course, we are not in Australia, we are not in Italy, we are not in France, because inside of GTN we have a global database. That's why there are repeating titles of these navigational aids, and we would like to use ROM from USA. That's why we just choose which we need. And last waypoint will be rank. That's why R. Okay, just a second. Okay, run, C, and K. Okay, enter. Yes, it is present. And final, it will be our destination airports. KSFO. KSFO. Enter. And our flight plan is ready. If you scroll up, you will see the whole flight plan. Also, we can click at any waypoint of our flight plan, and here you will see that insert before or insert after, load airway, waypoint information, or remote, or activate leg. However, okay, if you would like to activate leg, you will see that it will be next waypoint of our flight. Then, if you go to menu of our active flight plan, here you will see that we can click preview to see our actual flight plan and geometry of our flight plan. That's why here you will see that it is our location in Los Angeles airport and all the sequence of our waypoints that we would like to cross to fly. Then from there we can set up parallel track. In this case, we need to activate our flight plan, and then we will can use parallel track. In this case, we can set up our trajectory in some distance from actual plan. Okay, actually our flight plan is ready. And also quite important that okay, after flight plan activation in parallel track, we can change direction of parallel track, right or left, and set up offset, like 30 nautical miles, for example, and just clicking activate, and we will see that in our flight plan we've got PA sign here. It means parallel track. If we go to menu and click preview, you will see that this is our waypoint and this is our planned track, and we use parallel track to our planned track. Okay, actually I don't want to use it, that's why I can just click deactivate parallel track and we come back to usual flight. Also, here you can see that we've got activated flight plan, and we are on the leg from Los Angeles airport to DRBB. And here we've got calculated desired track and distance. Also, if you remember, all of to these fields we can change in the settings of our flight menu. Also, we can click invert flight, and in this case we can change moving from San Francisco or to San Francisco. Okay, and next, if we click on Clark's Airport, you will see that we can load procedure for this waypoint. However, in this case, we can choose departure, arrival, and approach. In our case, because we depart from Los Angeles, that's why we need to set up um, seat scheme for Clark's Airport. That's why here we've got different titles of available schemes. Then we need to choose what type of runway we will use and what kind of transition point will be at the final departure procedure. Also, we can click on preview and we will see how it looks like. Okay, and if you click load departure, in this case, for Los Angeles airport, will be specified departure in our flight plan. And actually, first of all, it will be departure, and then begin our on-road way that we have planned before. Also, we need to set up arrival and approach for KSFO. We can do it in this way, or we can do it in next button or in next menu, which called procedure. That's why departure has been set up. We need to set up arrival for San Francisco airport. That's why let's choose one of them. Then click preview. Yep, why not? Yes, I agree. And just click on load arrival, and we will see arrival at San Francisco airport with the following sequence. That's why specific waypoints have been added to our flight plan. And if we click back and go to procedure again, we can set up approach scheme for KSFO. We can set up the ILS different transition, and also we can click load approach. However, it is not setting up for GPS approach. Okay, and now we've got all our flight plan. Actually, we have 4 basic chapters in our flight plan. First of all, it is departure for Los Angeles airport. Then it is en route part. Okay, en route with all the with all sequence of waypoints. Then arrival, and if it is present, approach. Okay, and if you go to menu and click preview, you will see that our flight plan has been dramatically changed. It happened because we don't care about seat and stars, and we need to take attention which of them we would like to choose, because in some cases we need to set up much more friendly for us seat and star, which give us moving to specific waypoints. Actually, in my flight plan, it is not so efficient. However, for study purpose, it may be enough. Okay, if we come back, we've got our flight plan, and if we come back to map view, you will see, and just make zoom out, you will see that our flight plan will be start from runway 25 L, and just go by this white line to KSFO. Okay, you will see how we will fly. Okay, okay, we will see that near to us it will be some clouds with probably bad weather. Okay, and then we will land in KSFO. Okay. However, due to wrong scheme usage, we've got like a circle. However, during the planning, we of course need to check the most appropriate scheme to make like the most efficient landing. Okay, if we come back, also next, quite important, nearest menu. In nearest menu, we can see which airport is nearest to us. Okay, that's why it is a list of nearest airport. As you remember, we are at the airfield of Clark's Airport. That's why you can see the closest airports and distance to them with view angle. Also, we can see nearest intersection points, waypoints. Then we can review nearest VOR ground stations. In this case, we can just take attention and in nautical miles or distance to these navigational aids. That's why we can use the closest one to navigate or to get information from them, or just to tune. That's why, for example, from our location, of course, if we will be at some particular altitude during the en route phase, we can just click on Santa Monica, we can see all the information, we can click on frequency, and we can tune our equipment to this ground station and get exact distance to the particular point. The same for non-directional beacons, types of airspaces which can be available. radio frequencies that can be used, that can be useful. Okay, FCC also present here, and weather reporting frequencies, or ATIS data, which report current weather. That's why different airports, direction to the ground station, and radio frequencies of them. Probably that's all located to the nearest. If we can summarize, in nearest menu we will see facility, which is nearest to us, and which we can just review to see if we need some navigation data. Okay, let's scroll down. Also, here we can see waypoint information. Here we can create our own waypoint database. That's why we can create database, create new waypoints by coordinates, or by clicking in map. And then we can save it with a specific name and then use it for flight planning. In music menu we can upload some tracks and then just play them. In utilities we can use vertical navigation calculator. We can use timers. That's why we can reset it or present, and direction down or up, start, stop, everything that probably can be used. Rain prediction, which is used. If you remember rain, it is a status of data that is related to their GPS navigation. That's why it told us that we can use GPS navigation and everything is correct with our coordinates. If rain is bad, it means we cannot use GPS for navigation and we can switch to another method of navigation to fly. Trip planning, that's why here we can count our flight plan. For example, actually now we are at the leg from runway 25 to their point of altitude, 620 feet. Departure time, departure date, ground speed. If we can click compute data, we can count distance, desired track, distance, safety altitude, ETA, ETI, and all other data at each leg of our flight plan. In this case, it means that we count our flight plan and count all of this data automatically. And fuel planning. Also, we can, okay, just a second, we can click mode for whole flight plan, compute data. Also, we can see how many fuel we have, time for which we have enough amount of fuel, efficiency, which depends on airspeed, and range. And also we've got this data calculated for each leg of our flight plan. Also calculation of some parameters related to their wind speed and current air temperature. That's why we can count density, altitude, wind direction, and wind speed. However, in my simulation, I do not use wind setup. That's why we don't have any information in wind direction or wind speed. If you scroll it a little bit down, also here cleaning mode is available, because in case of broken pixels, you will see some white pixels. That's it's a dark screen. And if you go to the map, you will see our track, which we would like to use to fly, and probably that's enough for start. I have told you about just basics of GTN 650, and in this case we covered basic menu and creation of flight plan. You will see that creation of flight plan is quite simple. We do not need to spend too much time, just clicking on anything that we would like to change or we would like to modify, and we can easily change it during the flight. That's why thank you. If you have any questions, I will be glad to answer. Also, just a second maybe about buttons. That's why we've got button home. Means that it doesn't matter where we are, we can easily come back to home menu to select basic menus of GTN. And direct to button helps to direct our aircraft to particular waypoint or particular point of flight plan or to the nearest airport. That's why here is the nearest airport, and we can just easily choose that we would like to change destination in case of some emergency, and just need to click activate, and we will be directed from our flight plan to the airport which is close to us. That's why everything is quite easy and prepared for different cases.